Distraction impulses. So I'm not going to waste your time, guys. People are more distracted than ever, and I think it's all because of a couple of key things. Unfortunately, as far as language learning goes, constant distraction definitely results in much less progress than would be ideal. And I think if you want to boost your language learning progress, which everyone does, myself included, you definitely need to understand how to eliminate distractions that block your focus. So by the end of this video, you'll understand how the kind of major distractions work and how to deal with them as well. I will say, if you do like this kind of educational content, guys, definitely hit the subscribe button and let's go. So what is a distraction, first of all? A distraction is something that prevents you from concentrating on your goal. And I'm going to put these into two main types of distractions. We could talk about micro distractions and macro distractions. I'm not going to go there with this video. I'm just going to try and keep it simple. So the two main types of distractions I think you'll find are active and passive distractions. And they're different in a key way. So active distractions are things that interrupt your concentration while you're trying to concentrate on something. So for example, a notification beeping, noise, people interrupting you, etc. Like something actually coming in and distracting you. A passive distraction is something that you decide to do that interrupts your concentration. So it isn't actually doing something to distract you, you're actually distracting yourself. So an example would be checking your emails for no reason or checking social media. So if a notification or something goes off to beep and warn you, any kind of noise interruption like that, that is an active distraction. If it's something that you decide to go, okay, I'm just going to go check this real quick, that's a passive distraction because you're actually deciding to interrupt your own concentration to go check something. Both of these things are bad, but they need to be dealt with in different ways. So I'm basically going to address how you destroy both of these distractions. And let's just say, like for the last time, this is hugely negative when you're studying. Once you've become very, very productive, if you ever do that and then slip back into your old habits for like even a day, you'll realize how kind of poisonous they are to your actual progress you can make. So active distractions first. A few examples just to kind of wrap your head around it are notifications, phone, it could be notifications from a laptop as well, anything you're using, noise, cluttered desk, disorganized tasks, literally anything that takes your concentration away, that like interrupts your focus, that just kind of gets in the way of the flow, if you know what I mean. So I actually think most distractions are passive, not active. And I think active distractions are a little bit easier to solve just because you can actually stop them, whereas passive distractions, you kind of almost have to stop them within yourself, which is a lot more difficult. So for any active distractions like your phone, etc., they should be on silent or do not disturb, and then put it in another room where it's actually away from you. I think a barrier or like physical isolation is really, really good to stop active distractions. Taking them away from you or taking yourself away from them is really, really good for not being distracted. Studying with your phone next to you, especially if it's not on silent, but even if it is on silent, it's literally the worst thing. They've actually, I can't quote the study, but they've actually proven that people who are on marijuana actually are more focused than people with a phone next to them that's going off when they're studying. So that is how bad having a phone next to you beeping is for your concentration. You will literally get nowhere near as much work done as you could have, and you don't even enjoy it. Like, would you rather get like 4 times the work done for 15 minutes with no phone and just go 15 minutes without your phone? Or would you rather have your phone beeping next to you and get a quarter of the work done? I don't know about you. I'd much rather learn a language in 1 year than 4 if it means sacrificing my phone for a very small amount of time on a weekly basis. So yeah, definitely make sure your phone is away. Try and get people to be quiet. That one's more difficult, so you probably have to move yourself away. That's why some people would prefer to study outside rather than inside if that's possible. As far as for like a cluttered desk goes, I should actually take a before and after picture of my desk, but just literally taking more stuff off of your desk and putting it somewhere else in a drawer, for example. It might annoy it might annoy people that you're just like, you know, kind of moving the mess, but moving the mess is better than keeping the mess on the desk, I found, because it does kind of distract you just having unnecessary things on your desk. And as far as disorganized tasks goes, basically what I mean by that is not really knowing what you need to do to study a language. So definitely check out, I'll have another video pop up on the screen right now for actually important language learning tasks. But basically, you should, if you don't really know what you're doing to study a language, you'll kind of task switch and flip between things. You should really know that, okay, like for example, I'll give you an example, it's better to understand it this way. For example, you might say for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to read this book, for example. I'm going to read one chapter. When you just say, I'm going to learn a language, that can mean literally anything, and you'll flip between tasks to try and feel productive. So I'd definitely say set yourself an actual concrete task when you're learning, and yeah, that is definitely better. Keep your eye on the ball, don't be distracted. Ideally, you have a habit tracker or something. I've already done a video on that, so I'll have that pop up on the screen right now. Definitely check it out after this video. But yeah, make sure you do have a clear task that you're performing and stick to them. That is active distractions. Here are passive distractions, and they're a little bit more difficult to solve because you kind of have to solve it within yourself. So examples of passive distractions are mind wandering, like kind of just taking your concentration away from something, thinking about something else, social media addiction, task switching, etc. Task switching is basically where you switch between tasks. Like for example, I might be making the script for this YouTube video, and then I might switch to making the thumbnail or answering comments on YouTube. And people do it to try and feel productive, but it's actually bad for your productivity because of a whole bunch of scientific things, but it's not good. So the strongest weapon, I think, against passive distractions is discipline. And the reason for this is because unlike with active distractions where you can actually distance yourself from them or move them away from you, you can't really distance yourself away from a passive distraction. It does take some discipline to not mind wander and not to, want to check social media, etc. So you need to train yourself not to give into the impulse of passive distractions. So the way you do this is by building your discipline. So setting yourself a small block to study, it might be read one chapter, for example, or watch this 20-minute video, or study for 30 minutes, like take notes on this particular language learning topic, for example. And basically, you need to set yourself a small block of time where you just will not give in to anything off topic. So if you have really bad discipline, you might literally say, I'm going to do 10 minutes, I'm going to watch this 10-minute video, and I'm not going to, scroll into the comments, I'm not going to check my phone, I'm not going to do anything else. And then after this video is over, I can reward myself by checking my phone, for example. And that's better than, that's a starting spot. So you start by setting yourself a small block of studying or anything like that. You hold your integrity for it and you don't break during it, and then afterwards you can go do something else. And over time you progressive overload, which means you increase the difficulty. I've made a video on progressive overload, so you should definitely check that out as well. But for example, you would set yourself 20 minutes of studying and you don't break, you don't take your concentration away, and then maybe next week you would set yourself 30 minutes and then 40 minutes, etc. You can increase the difficulty. You can increase the difficulty over time. That's what progressive overload is, and you'll find you get better and better, and you're less likely to be distracted. But for example, if I told you not to check your phone for the next 3 seconds, even if you're completely phone addicted, you could say, okay, I'm going to put my phone down. 1, 2, 3, boom. Now I can check my phone. Everyone can do that, right? So literally just start small. Start with not task switching, not mind wandering, not checking social media for like literally 5 minutes if you have to, and then over time, progressive overload. I'd also recommend growth mindset. Tell yourself the work is fun. Tell yourself that you enjoy the actual language learning process more than you would checking social media. Just say it out loud to yourself, and yeah, you will find it is better. If you do have any comments on that one, guys, passive distractions can be a little bit of a difficult one to beat, but over time you will make progress. So the bottom line, distractions are poisonous to studying, and they do have to be eliminated if you want to make better progress. Guys, that is the video. If you do like this kind of language learning content I make that's kind of educational, definitely hit the subscribe button, and feel free to comment any questions down below. I'm happy to help. Links to my Discord and website in the description. Have a good one.